Here I've got some willow, which you can use, or you can use ivy as the base for your wreath. And before I harvest it, I'm going to ask the willow tree if I can take some of it to use for a wreath. And I'm going to listen to its answer. And if I get a feeling that it's saying yes, then I'm going to take some. And I'll show you how much you can cut off. Ideally, don't do it in the rain. I think sunny day is the best thing, but it's raining today, so I just wanted to show you what one of your options are. Willow tree is for making the base of your wreath.
So, if you've got your willow or you've got your ivy, what you can do is you can take the leaves off now if you wish. I think it looks better without the leaves because the leaves will start to wilt a bit, and these leaves are not actually looking that great. So just take the leaves off. You may want to do this outside if it's warm enough, because it does make a bit of a mess. Once you've got all your willow and you've taken the leaves off, what you want to do is decide what size wreath you want to make. Would you like to make a small one, or would you like to make a bigger one? I'm going to make a small one because these bits of willow are actually quite short. This is the sort of width that you sort of want to aim for when you do cut off your willow. And you just make a circle and you wrap it around, going under and over. Wrap it around. I like to use willow because it comes up with I guess, more cleaner effect. You're not going to be able to see it anyway unless you look at the back. But ivy is also fine if you want to do, if you want to use ivy as well. Right. So that's just with one. Now you find another one. Your next one. And you can start where the other one left off. I don't think it matters too much, to be honest. And then just keep winding it around and building up this base layer of your wreath. Okay, and so you want to do that with maybe at least another 5 or 6 more pieces of willow. You've got your wreath. Because I've got a little one, I'm not going to add too much more to it. If you wanted to make a bigger wreath that was a bit heavier, you're going to put more foliage onto it, I would put on maybe another 4 layers or 5 layers, just however much you think, to make it a bit thicker and a bit able to hold more weight. So as you can see, there's lots of loose bits there. That's fine. What we're going to do now is we're going to secure them in place with some string. I'm actually just going to use harakeke or New Zealand flax, which I've harvested in a careful way, but just use string if you like. I just didn't have any, so I'm going to use this. So we're just going to go around all the edges and tie it together to make it secure. So you've gone through and you've made all the ties around the edge to keep it in place. Now we're just going to tidy it up and cut all the string off. You can sort of tug it a little bit to get the shape that you want. Just don't be too rough, but you can, it's a bit flexible, but if you want to make it a bit more of a circular shape, you can give it a bit of a shove, and you know, it's feeling quite solid now and secure, ready to be loaded up with the next step. If you're using ivy, you can take the leaves off, but it's also quite cool to leave them on, so that's up to you. The leaves will sort of dry a little bit, so again, like we did with the willow. you just decide what shape. I'm feeling very much like small ones today. I don't know about you, maybe you're into big ones, and then you just, this one's quite unusual shape. You just wrap it through, under and over. Starting to get the shape there, and then you're going to do that with another 5, 6, 7, 8 more pieces. Start where the last one finished if you want, and then hold it with your left hand, and then I'm using my right hand. Obviously swap that round if you're left-handed to just wind it. This one can be quite good for kids, so yeah, you get the idea. So we're going to go around and you're going to do that until that base is thicker, so put on like 5 more lengths or however much you want. So this is what the ivy looks like. We've done the same thing that we did with the willow. So I've tied little pieces. I use harakeke, but you can use string just to secure the base. So either you've got this or you've got this, whatever you choose. Now you know what they both look like. So now we're going to make this little feathery thing. So you want to get, I believe this is called Lawson's cypress, I think so. Some sort of plant with needles, if you want the smell, and you just put it together. If you've got a small wreath, you want a smaller bunch. And eucalyptus is also nice. So whatever you want to use, as long as it's evergreen leaves, just place them on top. Maybe you want a bit of a pine as well. So you're just making a little feathery shape, and then you're just going to hold that in place with a rubber band. And tie that all together. I'll just chop it and make it easier. And so then you've got one little bunch, and you most likely want to keep copying what you've put into this bunch and make another one the same, so that you've got at least 3 or 4 bunches the same, and you can mix it up and do some different. And so then what you're going to do, so you put them onto your wreath, and you're just going to, that's what we're going to do next, lay them on top, and you've got your other bunches once we make them. And use the next one to cover over the rubber band part, and then we're going to tie those in place. So your wreath is going to look like, something like this. So now we're going to go ahead and start tying our feathery bits onto top of our wreath, whichever one you've got, whether you've got a willow or an ivy, it's going to be the same. So just get your first little piece, and you're going to tie it on with your string. I'm just using harakeke because I didn't have any string, so string is absolutely fine. So we're going to go ahead and put the rest on. So what we do is we just lay that over the rubber band to cover that bit up, like so. And then we get some more string and tie that one on. So I'm securing it on the front and then tying it on the back. Did learn some special ways of knotting when I worked at a forest school, but because I haven't done them for a while, I've forgotten them. If you've got a fancy knot, then use that. Otherwise, I'm just using a regular knot. Okay, we can always come back and secure it a bit more later if we notice that's a wee bit wobbly. So now we've just got two on there, and then we're going to keep going all the way around. So I just wanted to show you this bit, which is how you put the next bits in, is you lift up part of this, right? Or if I hadn't secured this, you're sort of hiding this little rubber band end through and underneath here. So you kind of sneak it in there, and that's how you do it. Okay, so now your wreath is all tied on, okay? And you might be thinking, oh my goodness, I've got lots of gaps, but that's fine, because now this is where we fill in those gaps, and we just hide any little bits of rubber band that we can see, and just tidy it up a bit, and then after that we'll put the holly on. Or if you wanted to, you could even put the holly on now, as long as it covers up those little gaps that you can see. So let's just try, because I can see here, I can see the rubber band. So if I can just sneak the holly in on top of that, that can be a good way of closing up that gap. Just readjusting the leaves so that they're going to cover up that rubber banded area, and then you're going to need to tie it down with some string. So I'm just filling in a few more gaps here. This gap here, you can see that that's going to cover it, but not completely. So I've got a little bunch of some thick looking needles here, and I'm going to put them in there. So all I've done now is I've actually just poked these little white berries in here as well. This is an experiment. I'm not sure if they will last well. I definitely know that holly berries are the best. And you're done. Well done.